Hey guys, this is Fernando doing another video for the More Survivalists. I want to share with you folks this video. This is from Argentina, a butcher in Argentina, small mom and pop type of store. He's owned this place for over 20 years. He has 2 employees and he's struggling because the prices don't stop. They keep on going up. And he makes a few excellent points, and I want to show you guys this because this is where those prices, the politics, the economy ends up affecting people's lives. The kind of stuff that I talk about in the channel, the kind of stuff I talk about in my books, Surviving the Economic Collapse, Street Survival Skills. Both of these are available in Amazon in the links below if you want to learn more about that sort of stuff. So to prepare, this is what ends up happening when these things go down, when the economy crashes, when you make bad decisions, when you vote for corrupt politicians, when all they do is steal and get into their own bank accounts the money that should be in your own pocket, using the government so as to pillage the entire population. The guy is showing him a message that he got from his supplier saying that meat will double in price. Yeah, get ready because meat will go from 1,000 pesos to 2,000 pesos. That's a 100% increase. Now, it's also interesting. I mean, he's saying all of this in Spanish. That's why I'm not running the audio. But he's saying that they lie, that politicians lie, that on the news they lie about 5%, 10%, 15% inflation when it's always 20, 25, 30. And he also says it's been like this for years. For over 20 years, I've seen them do the same thing. They say that inflation is one number and then it's another. You guys know exactly what I mean because you guys are watching this in your own countries, in the United States, in Europe, my family in UK, they say one number, but when they go to Asda or Sainsbury or Tesco or wherever it is, doesn't matter where you are, politicians have gotten their way these last few years. It used to be a little bit more transparent when they said 2% inflation, 3% inflation. Well, that's kind of the number that you saw reflected in those prices. But not anymore. Now they shamelessly lie to your face. Prices go up 30, 40%, 50%, and they just don't say that on the news. And this has a huge impact on the quality of life of people. This makes people poor. Maybe this part here where he explains how he deals with this. I don't know, let me see if...
Solo tener la bondiola 2.500, ¿cuánto?
Claro.
Por la gente.
And he's explaining how do I deal with this? How do I increase the prices? How do I say what do I say to my clients when all of a sudden they show up and they cannot afford the food that they need?
Claro. Por la gente. A veces me la aguanto.
Pero te aguantas vos y tu familia.
Me da pena la gente.
He says sometimes I just suck it up. Sometimes I just take the hit myself. When I see the prices going up, I take as much as I can myself. I just charge as little as possible or even less than that, and he says because of the people, right? I do that because of the people. I just do enough just to keep my store open and pay my 2 employees, and then I'm the one that gets screwed just to keep the lights on and the windows, the doors open.
Pero bueno, no voy a bajar los brazos. Sea el que sea este presidente, no voy a bajar los brazos. Yo, gracias a Dios, trabajé toda mi vida y no necesito ningún presidente.
He says, I won't give up no matter who's the president. I'll just keep on going.
Nunca dependí de ningún presidente. Que hagan lo que quieran con el país.
Let them do whatever they want with the country, he says.
Pero se tiene que dar cuenta.
¿Hay angustia entre los comerciantes?
¿Qué te parece, verdad? Agarrate a un chico que está de repositor, que no tiene nada que ver. Él llega, termina su horario, se va a su casa, no le importa nada. Y él te pudo marcar las cosas. O sea, a mí me da pena por la gente.
¿Conoces a la clientela?
Quiero. Las quiero y me quiere mucho. Y me da pena que venga un jubilado a sacarle sus monedas para pagarte un churrasco 800 pesos. Perdón.
No, ¿sabes que tu angustia es la angustia de todos?
Anyway, the guy starts crying when he explains that he does this, because of his employees, because he has a couple of kids working, but he pretty much starts, crying when he says we have it's some of the older people, some of these that have retired, they just don't have enough money. They start counting the little coins just to buy a piece of meat, and there's not enough money for them, and they ask for the smallest sliver of meat possible, and the guy just breaks, and then he goes on saying that he hardly sleeps, and it's just crushing him and destroying it, which I completely understand. Look, I've seen this myself. And it wasn't this guy, but it was pretty much the same guy. It was just a hard-working guy that had a meat store, a butcher, and whenever I show up, hey, Fernando, everything is fine. Because it's fine. Because he knows I'll buy a bunch of whatever I want, and I have the money for it, and it's all good. But he knows that the next client may break him. The next client will be an 80-year-old, retired school teacher that starts, counting coins, and it's still not enough, and he will not be able to buy, and he will give him whatever amount of food he can give away, and he will crush his own business as much as possible. He will crush his own economy for himself, for his family, just to keep those doors open, and to give some food to the people that are in his neighborhood, his community. Again, small mom and pop type of store. It's a neighbor. It's not just the butcher. It's the guy that lives there. He lives next door from these people. These are the people that are poor all around him, right? And he buys a cow and sells it for what he can. But if the price goes up for him, he just moves those prices over to the clients. He hasn't got much of a choice in that, right? But it destroys him. It clearly is. And this is the thing. How long can you keep up with this? We talk about the guns. We talk about gold. We talk about food preparedness. How do you live like this? How long can you take it? That kind of stress, that kind of anguish. Look at the guy. I don't know even how old he is. But look at the gray hair, right? He's probably a lot younger than you imagine, because I've seen this so many times. Again, this is the stuff that I talked about here during the collapse of 2001. The stress kills people. You wouldn't believe how much. The anguish, it hits your immune system. You get sick, and you don't recover as well, and you don't sleep, and the stress slowly but surely eats away your health until there's nothing left of you, right? This guy is probably a lot younger than you think, and he's just stressed out. He just has to cope with that. I mean, again, I've seen this myself. The young mother with a couple little kids shows up. What can I buy? Kids want to buy something. No, we can't buy that. Nope. Can't buy anything. And the guy sees that all day long. He doesn't see me all day long. He sees, hey, Fernando, everything, yeah, super cool. He likes chatting. But then he has to deal with the other 60, 70, or 80% of the country, which is struggling, which is poor, which is screwed by the corrupt politicians that they apparently cannot get rid of. And who's to blame here? Well, we can go all day long. That's why we talk about politics in the channel. That's why I do cover these issues, because I know that this is how it ends up, right? With the destruction of your quality of life, with increased poverty, with misery, with poor people. I've seen, people end up. I've seen this myself. A woman or a man showing up. Hey, can I take a few bones for my dog? They ask the butcher, the bones, and the guy sells them like a bag of bones for nothing, peanuts, or even just giving it away, and it's not for the dog, man. It's just to cut it up and make some kind of broth or soup, but they're ashamed of even saying that. So they ask for a few bones for their dogs, and the butcher knows there's maybe no even. If they have a dog, the dog will get a little bit of that maybe, or sometimes they don't even have a dog, and he knows it. And he says nothing, and he gives them a few bones with a little piece of meat there, or wherever he can spare, because he's a human being, he's a decent guy. Actually, the reporter tells him that he has great prices. Oh, you have great prices, and the guys back in the studio are telling him the same. Oh, yeah, the guy has good prices in Caballito in Buenos Aires. But he's struggling. He's trying to keep the prices as low as possible, but when that chunk of cow shows up with a price, he has to pay that. And he hasn't got much of a choice. Either that or he hasn't got the product. And that's it, guys. That's how it goes. That's what the inflation does to you. And you're seeing more and more of this in your own country, no matter where you are. I know that's a fact. In Argentina, it's particularly bad. It's particularly terrible. It's off the charts. And it's collapsing right now as we speak because the current administration knows they're going to be losing. So since I'm going to lose, I'll just destroy things anyway. Right? There's a little thumbnail there on the side. I'm seeing it. You don't see it, but it's the same guy. He says, "It breaks my heart." And it is. It does. It does break his heart. It's quite obvious. But folks, as always, this is why we prepare. This is why we try to stay ahead of the curve, make smart decisions, and that's what we try to do here in the channel, what I try to teach through my books and so on. Guys, it's going to be all for now. Any questions, anything you want to leave there in the comments below, more than welcome. See you next time.